I used to in the Holy Land for 10 days.
Went to the down to the Hockney exhibit. If I did nothing else, that was the most incredible thing. Yeah, okay. So, I need this. So what they do is that the president of the
Shabbat shalom.
president
We're delighted to have you. Official law. Great to see you. Great to have you guys here tonight. Shabbat shalom. What a gift to see my friend. Shabbat shalom, my dear. It's good to be here. I read about that. Shabbat shalom, Gary. It must have been 100 degrees.
It's 97.
It is official.
In my underwear. Everybody walked around with scratch.
We're going to get started, but I'm so glad to hear that you're backstage.
My birthday cake was green puffs and fresh fruit.
Living the dream. Shabbat shalom.
Again, I'm pointing it out to her. Wasn't enough. I think you just spread the word. The jacket, lovely.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Sure is nice to see you and hear you. Some people say that when the world is in chaos, as it is right now, so many different corners of the world, different corners of this country, including our own corner of this country, that it's harder than ever to be able to embrace the goodness, the sweetness, the beauty that is Shabbat. Maybe it is harder, I don't know. But I would say that the beauty of the Sabbath day and all of its hope and possibility and renewal it stands in even greater stark contrast when the world is in a troubled way. And so almost from the minute you embrace Shabbat time and space, you sit in this beautiful outdoor chapel. You look around the way we set this up so that you can see each other's faces, not just the backs of heads. You look at the beautiful hillside. You feel the beauty of what it is to experience summertime in Southern California. Those of us who grew up in the middle of the country don't take that for granted, I will just tell you. Where I come from, and where Rabbi Goldberg comes from, just a tiny bit due north of where I come from, when it's hot during the day, it feels pretty much exactly the same in the night. Still muggy, hot. The sun goes away, but the heat does not. And I remember when I first came and visited here in the summertime, and I was like, wow, it actually gets cold at night, relatively speaking. And the air is dry and crisp and beautiful, and we are right now sitting in a perfect Shabbat evening, right? It is exquisite out here. And the way we do in the summertime, we begin in the fading Shabbat daylight, and so by the time we're through, it will be darker, it will be cooler, and I hope that the beauty of this place of this place, of these faces, of these souls and spirits with whom we are welcoming Shabbat by virtue of the choice that you made to be here. And that includes those of you who are joining us via our live stream. The choice that you made to create Shabbat time, not because it showed up on the watch, but because you made the decision to say, let's separate this day because we need its restoration. We need its restorative powers so that we can feel the even sharper distinction between the chaos out there and the beauty in here. In here. Let us be grateful for all those gifts and embrace this Shabbat. Allow it to rebuild us so that we can set about in the beginning of a new week rebuilding this world. We express our gratitude for that with the words that are found at the top of page 10. These are words that were written by the psalmist long ago, but there's a reason that they're still number one with a bullet in the Jewish community, because they express how we feel on a night like this. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. How good, how pleasant it is, how necessary it is for us to be together in fellowship on this Shabbat evening. Let's celebrate it together. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. That sounds nice. Let's try it from the beginning again. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom. So often here at LBT, we begin our Kabbalat Shabbat services in song, as we did tonight with, for instance, a psalm, Hine ma tov. How wonderful and good and important it is that we are able to be here together. Also, other songs that we sometimes begin with are like Shabbat-specific melodies that just help us cross the threshold from the past week and all the chaos and all the experiences that we brought from this past week into this 25-hour sacred time. And also nigunim, wordless melodies, when sometimes we don't have words to bring us into this time when we don't know what to say. In addition to musical treasures that bring us into Shabbat, our Mishkan Tefillah, our prayer book, has other hidden gems for us too. Poems and reflections that speak to the full range of the human experience, including any sort of tenderness that we might be having right now. So tonight we have the privilege of hearing one of these gems in our prayer book, read by some of our chesed companions here at Leo Beck Temple. These are Leo Beckers who quietly and skillfully walk alongside fellow community members who are grieving. Some of them are here with us in our physical space, and others are joining via live stream, and all of whom are walking exemplars for what it means to make this community one that is whole and one that is holy. In that spirit, I am honored to invite our Chesed companions who feel comfortable to come forward and share a reading from our Mishkan Tefillah, which can be found on page 6. We can all follow along at the bottom. It's written by Rabbi Sidney Greenberg. who was one of the liturgists of our Reform movement in the 20th century.
Chesed people, come on, come on. We need the Chesedists.
That's who we are, I guess. Hasidim, yeah, yeah, nice.
Y'all can share at the bottom. You have
Oh, you got one? Yours is bigger.
Yeah, it's just, it's mean.
Make sure that you get at least close enough to the mics so that people
Oh, that's right. Just,
can hear you. Come on, come on.
Okay, here we go.
One step forward, come on, Bob. Okay. Why are you pushing me? Okay.
May the door of this sanctuary be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this sanctuary be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or despairing feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this sanctuary be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
We're going to shift from page 6 to page 344. We just heard, may this synagogue be for all who enter a doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Thank you to those of you who are making this synagogue, this community, a more meaningful and sacred place. And the way that we enter into Shabbat in that sacredness is through song. And so on page 344, we'll sing Shir Ru Ladonai Shir Chadash together. 344.
Shiru Ladonai Kol haaretz Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Shiru Ladonai Kol haaretz Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai Kol haaretz Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. Sing to God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai Kol haaretz Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash.
We'll turn back to page 20 and 21 for Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, And when we come upon verse 9, in all the ways that we're able, body and spirit will rise to officially greet Shabbat at the entrance of our outdoor chapel. Page 20.
Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikavela, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat. Shabbat nikavela, Shamor v'zachor diburecha, Yishmianu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, v'shem u'tiferet v'litehila. Yalla la, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala. Yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat nikavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha. Rosh mikeden mesucha, sof mahaseh b'machshava techila. Yalla la, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala. Yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat nikavela. Hitoreri ki va'orech kumi hori. Daberi kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Yalla la, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha u'v'tzola. Toch emuneh am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Yalla la, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat, Pene Shabbat Nikavela Ya la 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 Lekadodi Ya la 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 Likrat Kala Ya la 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 Pene Shabbat Pene Shabbat Nikavela.
Page 28.
Barechu et Adonai Habevora Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
In the middle of page 30, we'll remain standing, and I'll invite us to read in English, the English translation of the Ma'ariv Aravim. We can read it together as one community in the middle of page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem Emet. I want to direct us to our supplemental pages, the blue pages that we have in our Sidurim right now. To the left side of the pages, I included two excerpts from the work of Adrienne Rich. The poet Adrienne Rich may have been one of the most influential feminist writers in the 20th century, or I guess over the past 100 years. And the first work comes from her 1982 essay, Split the Root. And Rich had what to say about the dichotomy between who we are as Jews when it comes to how we can see ourselves living in a world that is not yet redeemed. This is what she says. She posits that we Jews are of two camps. She writes, the Jew as radical visionary and activist who understands oppression firsthand, and the Jew as part of America's devouring plan in which the persecuted, called to assimilation, learn that the price is to engage in persecution. And I imagine, I'm hoping to link two of her works. I imagine that her own poetry from years earlier inspired her to come to this conclusion. And this excerpt comes from her poem, Natural Resources, in which she writes, "My heart is moved by all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who age after age, perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world." I chose these words before Michamocha this evening because I hope they can be an inspiration for us to be the Jews that acknowledge that we live in a world in need of redemption, as opposed to a world that is still living with persecution and where persecution will never leave. And so my hope is we can hold on to her words as we recite Michamocha together, which can be found on page 40, our prayer for holding on to the fact that redemption is possible and that we can be agents of redemption in a world in such need of it. Page 40.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai Michamocha Nedar b'kodesh Nohora
Nora
Tehilo
Tehilo
Ohose
Ohose
Fele
Fele
Nora
Nora
Tehilo
Tehilo
Ohose
Ohose
Fele Mocha Bailim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh.
On the top right of our supplement, we have our prayer Hashkivenu, inviting us to think about what it's like to have shelter, and inviting us, encouraging us to think about those who don't have shelter or for whom shelter is difficult to come by, and to consider what our role is in a world where not everyone has shelter. Hashkivenu on the top right of our supplement.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom L'shalom V'ha'amidenu Malkeinu L'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Just your voices. Amen. On page 46, we can turn to our tefillah, the central prayer of our service this evening. The name for it is the Amidah, so it'll be a standing prayer in all the ways that we're able. I'll invite us to rise. We'll recite the first 4 prayers together, so if you get lost, you can just keep turning the page. But following those first 4 prayers that we recite together, it's an opportunity for silent meditation or reflection. So if there are prayers that you have inside of you, or meditations or yearnings that you want to hold on to, this is a chance to pray those. Also, if there are just parts of you that maybe don't have anything to pray right now, there are words in the Siddur, either in Hebrew or English or translation or any sort of inspirational reading on the left side of the page as well. Whenever you are finished, you may be seated. We'll begin on page 46.
Adonai Sfatai שפתיי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך ופי יגיד תהילתך אדוני שפתיי תפתח אדוני שפתיי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד אתה מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
always ends with Birkat Shalom, a prayer for peace. In this moment where we are experiencing the lack of peace all around us, both imminently and in places so far away, feeling overwhelmed by the absence of peace, let us tonight pray Shalom Rav, pray for abundant peace, a great peace to come fill us all and fill this world. Page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adom lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adom lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה משלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Shabbat Shalom. In our country, the 4th of July is typically a holiday of celebration. Barbecues and hot dogs, American flags, and patriotic songs. But my heart wasn't in it last week, for I have found myself shaken, perhaps like many of you, by the stories and images emerging from the deportation raids in our holy city of Los Angeles. I think my heartache makes more sense when I read that the LA Times reported on July 4th, federal agents arrested more immigrants as part of ongoing raids that have rounded up more than 1,600 for deportation in Southern California. In Los Angeles, July 4th was not a holiday of celebration for many. Since the 4th, I've witnessed videos of families afraid to leave their homes for church in Downey, multiple 2 decades-long employees of a car wash in West Hollywood detained because of the color of their skin, parents keeping children home from summer school in East LA, Street food, taco truck, and fruit cart vendors skipping work in Culver City if they're lucky enough to have not been snatched up. All not out of indifference or neglect, but out of fear. Our Torah teaches us in Parshat Balak, theatrically and almost satirically, wisdom that we can grasp today. We read that Balak, who is the king of a nearby tribe in Moab, fears the Israelites. He sees them not as individuals, not as human beings, not as fellow travelers, but as a threat. And so Balak, he employs a prophet for hire named Bilam to curse them, and Bilam agrees to do so. So he mounts his donkey and he's on his way. On the journey, something miraculous happens in Torah. It feels like a fairy tale. The donkey sees an angel standing in the road with a sword drawn, but Bilam does not. And so 3 times the donkey veers aside, once to the left, once to the right, and once puts his head down. And each time Bilam strikes the donkey. And then, if it weren't enough a fairy tale, the donkey speaks. What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? To think. A donkey, a creature dismissed, beaten, underestimated, becomes the moral conscience of this story. To think a donkey as one who sees what others may refuse to see. To think a donkey as one who speaks when no one else will. It's almost comical. But even when Torah is on the verge of a laughing matter, I hope that this is a metaphor and it's not just a quirk of biblical storytelling. I hope it's a wake-up call, because sometimes I think it takes a talking donkey for us to get our attention. Today, sometimes the figures most ignored in our world, the ones at the margins, the ones we may be conditioned to overlook, are the ones who see the truth most clearly. You see, there's a parallel between this talking donkey and if we were to read it today, the 4th of July week, the lives of immigrants, asylum seekers, and black and brown people in our city and in our community, so many in dire need. They are the ones our society often strikes first, with rhetoric, with policy, and with silence. So the question is, what does Judaism teach us here? For us, who are sitting in this space, about how to show up in this haunting moment in our country's history. And while the 24/7 news cycle comes and goes, the reverberations of headlines to bills of Congress and natural climate disasters settle deeply into the daily rhythm of our lives, it might feel easy to look past the issues at hand, or to rationalize that a problem such as this might not be our own. What is our responsibility? I think of the great modern Jewish philosopher and rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, perhaps one of the most often quoted from this Leobeck Temple Bima, who famously said after returning home from the Civil Rights March from Selma to Montgomery, "For many of us, the march from Selma to Montgomery was about protest and prayer," Heschel spoke. Legs are not lips, and walking is not kneeling. And yet our legs uttered songs. Even without words, our march was worship. I felt my legs were praying. Heschel understood what it meant to turn moral clarity into a movement that can truly help people on the ground. Torah 2 doesn't just call us to listen when a donkey cries out for help. Jewish tradition is clear. We're commanded over and over and over again, 36 times, to love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. We're not supposed to simply tolerate. We're not supposed to pity. We're not supposed to empathize with. We're supposed to love and support and protect. Back to the donkey, our metaphor for this evening, who keeps trudging forward against all odds. After the donkey sees the angel, the prophet Bilam eventually sees the angel too. And when Bilam arrives at the Israelite people to deliver his curse, for which he was paid to do, something inside of him shifts. He opens his mouth, and instead of curses, blessings pour out. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your sacred dwelling places, O Israel. Bilam, who was once this prophet who was meant to curse the Israelite people, is literally blessing the people he was meant to curse. It's as if he's modeling for us as readers of this ancient text what courage can look like in this moment. The capacity to resist a script that is handed to us, and instead for us to choose to love the stranger as well. Now, it's possible that we might be holding a question inside. Okay, Scott, this talking donkey situation is absurd. Whose voice was it really when the donkey spoke? Donkeys don't speak. The ancient rabbis in the Midrash respond to your question. The voice of the donkey has been alive and expressive since the 6th day of the creation of the world, almost 5,786 years ago from Pirkei Avot. So the voice of our donkey crying out in pain and in fear has always been there. But in our story tonight, this sacred voice merely echoes what has always been true. It just takes some divine intervention for Bilam to finally hear it. Where is that divine voice today? I think I hear it when community members attend rallies and protests and vigils in solidarity. I also think I hear it when those reach out to marginalized peoples in our lives and offer them specific offers, whether food or groceries or supplies. I think I also hear it when those are supporting immigrant-owned businesses more than usual in this time. These acts are not small. They are blessings. They are acts of divine intervention. Like Bilam, this moment calls for our moral clarity and our courage to bless instead of curse, and to choose love over fear. For when we bless instead of curse, we walk the path that Torah demands. It's not an easy path, but we can walk the path together. Many of us may know that Rabbi Bernie sent a community-wide email last week naming the fear felt so acutely in Los Angeles and inviting us to respond by giving and showing up. Our LBT community is partnering with the Mid-Valley YMCA to collect food and essentials for those now too afraid to get what they need to survive. Starting this Wednesday and every Wednesday through August between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., Leo Beckers have the opportunity to drop off food and essentials at the temple. Bins will be placed by the guard booth for easy and safe drop-off. Some examples of what to bring: non-perishable food, hygiene goods, and diapers. And for the walking blessings in our community, and I'm talking about those who are willing to drive north on the 405 after 3 p.m., we need volunteers to drive those supplies to the Mid-Valley YMCA on Wednesday afternoons. helping in any way, is a simple yet profound act. If you have any questions or want to get more involved, please do not hesitate to reach out to anyone on the clergy team or to Bea or Allison or Karen who are leading this effort. We could not be more grateful. In his 1955 book of essays, Notes of a Native Son, James Baldwin, another prophetic voice in our modern era, wrote, "People are trapped in history, and history is trapped in them." Our country's history of exclusion, of scapegoating the outsider, of using fear as a tool to justify cruelty, is still echoing today. Baldwin encourages us to see how deep those patterns run. But I believe we are not trapped by fate. I believe we can choose differently. We are, in fact, the very people Torah has been calling on all along. My blessing for us this evening, may we heed the cries of the talking donkeys in our midst. Shabbat Shalom.
If you'll turn to the supplemental page. In the middle of the right-hand column, words brought to us from Israel, from contemporary state of Israel, about half a century ago. Et hamangina hazot efshar lahafsik. This melody cannot cease. We cannot allow it to cease. This melody inside us, a melody that sings of justice, that sings of compassion, the melody that points the way toward humanity, toward human rights, toward a world redeemed. Et hamangina hazot efshar lahafsik. This melody within each one of us, within our people, the Jewish people, a part of our story. Efshar lahafsik. It cannot cease. את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק. את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק. Try it with me. את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק. את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק. Lift your voice to the heavens, let it join in a holy refrain, and the sound born between us will arise and forever remain. את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק. את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק. Within every spirit there's a hum that longs to take flight, made of truth and of memory. It will lead us back into the light.
את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק In the face of injustice when the soul must have something to say this will be our resistance the song will continue to play את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק 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 A world awaiting the power of our song, this song that cannot cease. A world hungry for healing. When we speak words of Torah, we always connect them to this prayer for healing that is so precious to us, because it connects us to those in our circles of love and friendship and community who are struggling with illness, with brokenness, with disillusionment, with despair at all the suffering and pain that they feel, see all around them. They worry is impermeable. We sometimes are among those who walk with disillusionment, darkening our hearts, hungry for healing. For all of them, we join together in these words found in the middle of page 253, the words of Mishaberach. But before we do so, I want to invite anyone who would wish to speak aloud the name of someone in your personal circle who you would like to invoke for blessing as we are celebrating this Shabbat evening in community with one another. When my eyes meet yours, if you'll please just speak those names to our congregation and we can hold them in our hearts along with those who we name in our hearts. For all of them, for all of us, let us join together in words of prayer for healing, for renewed light. Middle of page 253. מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Aleinu can be found at the bottom of page 282, and it's the bottom of 282. As you are able, please rise. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, מה יום ההוא, מה יום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד. In this moment where we are yearning so deeply for a return of light to banish this darkness, we speak words of light and life found at the bottom of page 289 in preparation for our recitation of Kaddish this evening. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. And yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. As we prepare to recite the Kaddish prayer this evening, we remember especially our longtime congregant Susan Stockel, mother of Eric Stockel and Douglas Stockel, mother-in-law of Ruth Waddell and grandmother of Aaron, Daniel, and Chloe, whom death has taken from us in recent days. We link her name with Sarah Allen, Max Bauman, Rabbi Jacob Bauman, Doris Chartrand, Joy Morris Chermak, Yosef Cohen, Hattie E. Desser, Alexandra Fischel, Florence Flom Daniels, Mort Gantman, Louise Weinman Girdwin, Buff Given, Philip Goldman, Judith Maccabee Hakim, Bernard Human, Rita Levin, Hyman Lieber, Jack Bruce Littman, Michael McConnell, Eileen Reeves, Frank Leon Rose, Leo Rose, David Rubin, Harold Seltzer. Are there other names we should include? If so, please speak them aloud. Of course, we think also of all those who we name in our hearts. We think of all of those mourning families in the state of Texas, this time of tragic flooding. And as a story of darkness and death continues to unfold, we continue to bear them close at heart. And also, of course, we mourn for all those who have perished as innocent victims of violence in a world beset with violence, one that we must lead to peace. As we seek to be the kindlers of new light, we say, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of the righteous is an everlasting blessing. Together, let us give thanks for the blessing of life with the words of Mourner's Kaddish found on page 294. In all the ways you're able, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'almad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal, shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the giver of peace send peace to all who are mourning, comfort to all who are bereaved among us, and let us together say, Amen. Amen. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom.